Hello, wrestling fans and YouTubers. This is Old School Ted 1 with this week's Bryan Danielson overview review. I apologize for missing my preview this week. I had some computer issues. The file that I had it on apparently was corrupted, and I just couldn't find a way to upload it. And by the time I thought of doing another one, it was already Tuesday. We have come in now to the 1 week away from the final of NXT. And to be honest, NXT really hasn't lived up to what I thought it would be. I mean, there's a lot of things it could have been, and it really hasn't lived up to any of them. And how this relates to Bryan Danielson is specifically when the show first came on, everyone thought this is going to cater to him, it's going to be his show. It leaked that he'd win it, and I wonder if they had it set up that he'd win it, and maybe the execs got Vince and the rest of the John Delantris or Johnny Ace, if you will, who's one of the product relations guys, and Stephanie decided they didn't like that, so they were going to change things up. And so now you have a final three of Justin Gabriel, David Otunga, and Wade Barrett, and you have three distinctly, you have a decent high flyer, you've got an on-air personality with minimal ring skills, I'll be honest. And then you have Wade Barrett, who should win. If they screw Wade Barrett over, I will be very, very surprised, because he's kind of earned it. He's been the second best guy on the show. He's been the best guy on the show, the way they promoted him. The best guy on the show, I'll still argue, is Daniel Bryan, a.k.a. Bryan Danielson. They have done so little for him on the show, they've buried him. They've spent, he had decent matches up until the Darren Young 34-second match, and then it just kind of went downhill. If you want to look for the jump the shark moment for that part of the storyline. So now that they eliminated him, and they've been sort of trying to rehabilitate him with his interview, and they were good. His shoot, I will argue, it was almost a shoot last week, was solid. Caused a lot of noise, which is good. This week was just as good, with Michael Cole, whimpering behind his security guards and sent him away, and Daniel Bryan shook his hand and then made fun of, Michael Cole not being able to escape a handshake. Also called Michael Cole the worst announcer in the WWE, which I can't remember if he said WWE or WWE history. There's been some pretty bad ones historically wise, but right now, yeah, he is. Give me Todd Grisham, Josh Matthews, any day of the week. I'll take the coach over Michael Cole. I have to say something. I really don't want to take the coach, but anyway, we have Michael Cole, then kind of slapped Daniel Bryan, free shot. You almost had to slow down and see him do it. And then Daniel Bryan was gang tackled by 4 security guards, escaped them, ran around the ring and kind of tackled. Might have gotten a shot on him, I'm not 100% sure on Michael Cole. But the important moment, the moment to remember, is as he went up the stage, because he begged on Miz in the ring. Miz came out and was screaming at him, and Daniel Bryan fed him an elbow. Now, some folks thought it was a right hand. To me, it looked like a good old-fashioned Bryan Danielson elbow, and it just dropped Miz. And so they started brawling, and the humorous thing for me was looking at William Regal. Regal, to me, looked like he was grinning a bit as he was trying not to have him roll all over his shoes and get out of the way. I got excited about this because this continues to promote the concept that we will see Daniel Bryan in the ring with Miz sooner than later. Now, what do I mean by sooner than later? We've kind of come to a point. They have to do something this coming week. They can't just... If they just keep trying to push it on after NXT is over and try to say, oh, maybe they'll have an NXT reunion show the following week. I mean, that's the only way they can perpetuate this, I don't know, vacuum that they've created and Daniel Bryan's found himself in. I mean, they really have sucked. They're trying to build him back up momentum, and he's got it. He's got enough right now that the fans care about him. There's enough fan dislike of Michael Cole that feeds it. Then you have The Miz, who's just really hitting the stride. He had an amazing match with R-Truth. I will say that's probably the best match I've ever seen R-Truth in my opinion. If there's other ones out there, I haven't seen them, but that was still a good match with Miz on Monday night. But you have Miz really coming into his own, and a feud with Daniel Bryan, I think, would feed them both, because it would make Miz look like a better wrestler in the end, because I will always argue, put a great wrestler in the ring with an average one, and it raises the ability of the average one. If you want an example, excuse me, look at John Cena versus Kurt Angle. I know there's not that many John Cena fans out there, but he's become a better wrestler since that match because he had to. He had to find ways to get that submission win, and do other things. And I would argue he got better. Uh, Go back further. Look at The Rock versus Chris Benoit. The Rock got better when Chris Benoit had Shane McMahon as his manager over 10 years ago now. But he got better. Those things are important, and the WWE needs someone who can do that right now. Someone who is a very sound technical wrestler. A good submission stylist, somebody who can really push people. Yeah, they have submission experts in right now, but it's do they really? CM Punk maybe. Dolph Ziggler's using a sleeper. You have the Hart Dynasty using the sharpshooter. I mean, there's people out there who use submission holds, but let's really, they're missing that. They're going with what the WWE knows, which is big men. They know they're big men, and they've sort of cloned them and had tons of them lately. The big guy who can punch, or slightly animalistic, and Orton right now. I've heard a lot of rattlesnake comparisons. Similar, but not quite the same, but they know how to push certain types of wrestlers. They do know how to push technical wrestlers. They do understand how to do this. It just takes them a while, and they haven't really done it in a while, especially someone who's not 6'4" and not bundles of muscle. Sheamus is a good example of, look who's being thrown. If you're looking for amateur wrestling, you can point to Swagger. Swagger does have some skills, but he's not really showing it. He's showing it kind of in the anti-angle manner, if you watch him wrestle. But you find someone that you want to push, and they let go of some really good technical wrestlers too. But they need to find someone to push who's a technical wrestler. I mean, a real technical wrestler, and that'd be Daniel Bryan. And they don't even have to push him too far. Just get him on the roster, and then just find ways to make use of him. And he will push himself, I would argue. I could see them burying him, but I can't. Not right now. There's just too much interest about him. And yes, NXT's dropped the ball on him. But they're trying to figure out a way to sort of somehow salvage it. The way to salvage it, in my opinion, falls in one of two manners. Either on Monday night, have Bret Hart as general manager call out Miz, or Miz scream at Bret Hart to give him a rematch, and Bret Hart say, well, tell you what, you beat this guy, you beat your opponent tonight, and I'll give you a U.S. title match, and have the opponent be Daniel Bryan, and tell him if you win, you get a contract. That's one way to do it. And that would completely change what NXT would be like, because you'd have Cole howling to the moons and screaming about it. Or you could set up the match for NXT the next night, because there's only going to be, there's 3 guys left. And they could do like a fatal 3-way. That's what I'm thinking. But there's 3 guys left, and then we have a winner. So, but the next option would be is to have the match against Miz be on NXT. It is the grand finale. Short of them doing some sort of the whole everyone come back reunion thing the following week, which they could do, they kind of need to find some form of resolution or epiphany. They need to show Daniel Bryan in the ring triumphant some way. It doesn't need to win a match, but just standing tall in the middle of the ring, driving away Miz or Cole and whatever. But what we really need to do is see that. Even if we didn't see that exactly, if we saw Cole screw over Daniel Bryan, as long as he gets some form of contract and it's acknowledged that he's in the WWE, it'll be good. If they let it drag out for a few more weeks, they're going to lose the momentum. They will not have NXT around to help carry them, so they have to put him straight on the roster. And I think it would be a bit awkward to sort of try that. But keep looking for him. Articles on either WWE or, specifically there. He hasn't, Daniel Bryan hasn't Twittered much lately, but keep an eye out for that. I expect at least 1 or 2 articles probably in the next few days about their reactions and everything, and then you can sort of see how things are going to be angling. I may post an addendum like on Friday, depending on how things turn out. But until then, this is Old School Ted 1. Take it easy.